Let's talk about using the calculator on the computer to figure out compound interest problems. For this particular problem, we've got a deposit of $2,000. It's going to earn 6% interest. We want to know the amount in the account at the end of 7 years, and we also want to know the amount of interest that we've earned if it is compounded daily for 7 years. Our formula for compound interest is A equals P times 1 plus R divided by N, all of this raised to the NT power. A is the future amount. This is going to be what we're looking for in this particular problem. P is the beginning amount, the principal. So in this problem, it's 2,000. R is the rate of return. Now, our calculator wants us to express that as a decimal, so instead of saying 6%, let's change that to 0.06. N is the number of times per year that we compound. For daily, that'll be 365. And T, the time in years, for this problem, it's going to be 7. Now, let's just put everything in where it belongs. Our principal was 2,000. 1 is part of our formula. We'll add to that our rate, 0.06, divided by 365, compounded daily. And notice that that 365 is in the formula 2 different places. Then last, we need our time, 7 years. Now, it's a good idea if we'll help our calculator out with order of operations. So even though we're not going to use it first, let's compute that exponent as the first thing. Take 365 and let's multiply it by 7. That gives us 2555 for our exponent. So now here I've put that in place of the exponent. At this point, we just need to follow order of operations. Order of operations tells us that we need to begin within the parentheses and that the division is the most important thing in the parentheses. So let's type into our calculator 0.06. Let's divide that by 365 and press equals. Now, it is very important when you're dealing with exponents that you never do any rounding. Any rounding that you do will really throw the answer off by quite a bit. So taking exactly what's in our calculator, let's add 1 and press equals again. Also, we don't want to round again. Make sure that we use exactly what is in our calculator again. Let's use our exponent key to now raise this to the 2555 power. Press equals. Our last step is to multiply by the principal, which was 2,000, and press equals. Now remember, we're talking about money here, so we need 2 places past the decimal. We want to round appropriately, so looking at this 3rd place past the decimal, since this is more than 5, let's round that up, and it looks like our answer then is $3,043.82. Now the problem also said let's figure out the amount of interest that we've earned. To do that, let's just take our total in the account minus the principal that we started with, and looks like we've earned $1,043.82. Now, how would this problem have changed if instead of doing daily interest, we now are doing quarterly interest? So we've got exactly the same problem, only quarterly interest instead of daily interest. As you substitute the things in, the change that occurs quarterly is 4 times a year. So where we had that 365 before, now I need to have 4 in its place. Notice again that it's 2 different places that that method of compounding shows up. So a 4 goes here as well as there. Now again, it's a good idea for us to help our calculator along the way. 7 times 4 for my exponent looks like that'll be 28. So let's put 28 in for our exponent. Now again, following order of operations, 0.06 divided by 4, and press equals. Add 1 to this with no rounding and press equals. Again with no rounding, using your exponent key, 28 is the exponent that we'll use, press equals. Then the final step, multiply by the principal and press equals. We need again to round this as money, so I need 2 decimal places. The 4 that is the third spot, that's less than 5, so I'm going to round down, and it looks like my answer here for the total amount in the account will be 30, 34, 44. We were again asked how much of that's interest. So take 30, 34, 44 minus the original amount that we deposited, and looks like we've earned 1,034.44. The key trick to keep in mind is the order of operations has to be helped along with your calculator. Figure out that exponent first, then within the parentheses, do your dividing. With no rounding, add the 1. With no rounding, raise to the exponent, and then multiply by the principal.